Nestled between the rolling hills of Šumadija, a small Bosnian village named Rasic lay steeped in the whispers of its past. The villagers held a profound respect for the unspoken boundaries of their world. They understood that some stories were best left untold. It was a place where tradition clung tightly to the hearts of its people, and the air seemed thick with the weight of memories long forgotten. The sun rose over the village, casting long shadows through the gnarled trees that lined the cobblestone streets. The scent of fresh bread wafted through the air as old Mira, the village baker, prepared her daily batch for the locals. Each morning, her routine remained unchanged. She would roll out the dough, her hands skillfully kneading it, while her mind wandered to the tales her grandmother had once shared, stories of spirits that roamed freely, only to be silenced by the dimming light of day. Among the villagers, there was a sense of wariness whenever dusk fell upon Rasic. The children would gather close to their mothers, listening to hushed warnings about the Dark One's entities that dwelled on the edges of their world, waiting for the unwary to stray too far from the safety of the hearth. It was said that these spirits could take on human forms, blending in with the living, but their eyes betrayed them, glistening with an unnatural glow. Life in Rasic ambled along quietly until an outsider arrived, Dario, a well-meaning archaeologist with a passion for uncovering the secrets of forgotten places. He came to the village under the pretense of studying the ancient ruins that dotted the landscape, but his curiosity extended beyond mere stone. However, the villagers' disdain for the past only grew with his arrival. Despite the villagers' warnings, Dario's enthusiasm only intensified. Each day, he roamed the hills, digging through earth layered with centuries of history. One late afternoon, he stumbled upon an unusual stone formation, half buried beneath the thick underbrush. It was unlike anything he had seen, a rectangular structure, its edges adorned with carvings that spoke of ancient rituals and forgotten languages. Eager to document his find, he returned to the village to research its significance. But the elders, in their reluctance to engage, simply warned him to leave the past alone. Some things are meant to remain buried, an old man named Ivo said knowingly, gripping Dario's arm. You can't unearth what has been hidden for a reason. But Dario was undeterred. He was drawn to the site like a moth to a flame, and curiosity soon gave way to obsession. He returned to the structure under the cover of night, armed with a simple lantern and his notebook. As he approached the stone formation, a crisp breeze whispered through the trees, sending a shiver down his spine. Shadows danced eerily on the ground, twisting and turning as he illuminated the carvings with his feeble light. The moment his fingers brushed against the cold stone, a sudden chill enveloped him, as if the very essence of the structure had awakened. With a shudder, Dario recoiled, but curiosity prevailed over fear. He began to take notes, his mind racing with thoughts of the discovery. As the days turned to weeks, Dario noticed unsettling occurrences in the village. The villagers became increasingly apprehensive, often casting wary glances in his direction. Animals behaved strangely, dogs barking at shadows and horses refusing to enter certain fields. Dario dismissed these events as mere coincidence, blinded by his aspirations. But one evening, as he returned from the ruins, he felt as though he was being watched. A presence loomed just beyond his periphery, slipping in and out of view. The hairs on the back of his neck prickled as he quickened his pace, desperate to shake the feeling of dread that seeped into his bones. One night, unable to sleep, Dario ventured outside, seeking solace under the stars. The village lay still, the only sound the gentle rustle of leaves in the evening breeze. But as he strolled along the cobblestones, he heard a soft voice, ethereal and faint, beckoning him from the woods. Curiosity won over caution, and he followed the sound, drawn to the depths of the forest. As he ventured deeper, the night air thickened, charged with an electric energy that sent ripples of unease through his body. The voice grew clearer, a haunting melody that weaved through the trees, drawing him closer. It was beautiful yet sorrowful, resonating with a longing that sent chills coursing through his veins. Dario emerged into a clearing bathed in silvery moonlight, illuminating the remains of an ancient well. The air grew cold, and he felt the weight of the earth pressing down on him, a reminder that he was not alone. Faint silhouettes danced just beyond the edge of the clearing, ethereal figures cloaked in a haze of mist. They moved with grace, their features obscured, yet Dario could feel their sorrowful eyes piercing through the darkness. He stood frozen in place as they circled the well, whispering ancient chants in a language he could not comprehend. Amidst their movements, Dario noticed something glimmering at the base of the well, a pile of trinkets, long-forgotten offerings to the spirits that dwelled beneath. As his eyes adjusted, he could see the well's dark depths, a void that seemed to swallow the light. A bone-chilling realization struck him: these were not mere folk tales. The village carried the weight of spirits bound to the earth, seeking solace in the offerings of the living. That morning, Dario awoke to a profound sense of dread. Shadows clung to him like a heavy cloak, and he felt the village's atmosphere shift around him. The villagers cast disapproving glances, and the air was thick with a palpable tension. They gathered in hushed circles, their voices barely rising above the rustling leaves. Determined to unveil the truth, Dario confronted Ivo, demanding to know what lay behind the veil of secrecy. Ivo's expression hardened. "You have disturbed what was meant to remain undisturbed. The past is tied to our present, and there are consequences for rousing spirits that seek peace." As dusk settled, the warnings echoed in Dario's mind, but he could not turn back now. He returned to the ruins, desperate to understand the ancient carvings. The moon hung heavy in the sky, illuminating the stone formation with an eerie glow. He traced the lines of the carvings, the whispers of forgotten ceremonies reverberating in his mind. Each symbol seemed to pulsate with energy, awakening something deep within him. Suddenly, the air thickened, and a gust of wind howled through the clearing, bringing with it a cacophony of whispers, 1,000 voices crying out in unison. In that moment, Dario became acutely aware of a presence pressing against him, a feeling of overwhelming grief washing over him like a tidal wave. He stumbled backward as a dark shadow emerged from the stone, taking a shape that flickered between this world and the next. Dario fell to his knees, gasping for breath. The figure loomed before him, an apparition draped in darkness, eyes glowing an unnatural shade of blue. It reached out to him, fingers elongated and translucent, pure energy thrumming in the air around it. "Why have you awakened us?" The being's voice trembled like wind through the trees. It resonated with a haunting echo that sent chills racing down Dario's spine. I did not mean to," he stuttered, his heart pounding in his chest. "I only sought knowledge." "Knowledge?" It echoed mockingly. "You mortals seek knowledge without regard for the boundaries set by those before you. You have disturbed our rest." The air in the clearing crackled with tension, and Dario felt the ground beneath him shift. He glanced toward the well, knowing instinctively that the entities were bound to it. They could rise, but each time they did, they bore the weight of rage and despair. "What must I do to appease you?" he asked, voice quaking. The specter's glow intensified, illuminating the trees around them. "You must offer a tribute, a payment to the ones you disturbed. Return what belongs to us, and in exchange, we shall grant you peace, our peace." "What do you want?" Dario asked, the uncertainty boiling in his stomach. "Remember the trinkets you saw? Return to us the rightful offerings, and we may restore balance." Terrified yet resolute, Dario returned to the village and gathered what little he could find, small fragments of jewelry belonging to the villagers, trinkets passed down generations, and tokens of love and loss hidden in the corners of their homes. He felt the weight of each item in his hands, the echoes of stories woven into each piece, tying him to the fabric of the village and its history. As night fell, he made his way to the clearing once more, the shadows of trees stretching long in the moonlight. The well stood silent, the air thick with anticipation. Dario arranged the offerings at its base, heart racing. "You must do this willingly," the voice of the spectre echoed from the shadows. "You seek understanding, yet you trespass upon the grief of the departed. To offer true tribute, you must confront your own darkness." With trepidation, Dario closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. He whispered the names of those lost, ancestors and forgotten family members that once roamed the earth, asking forgiveness from the spirits that lingered. Suddenly, the air shifted, crackling with energy. The well glowed, as if ignited by an unseen force, shadows swirling around it. Dario opened his eyes, watching in awe as the spirits coalesced, a whirlwind of faces, sorrow and hope intertwining, their expressions a mirror of every anguish made tangible. For a moment, Dario felt their pain as his own, a haunting history laden with anguish and loss. Memories ignited within him, enveloping him in a tapestry of sorrow. He fell to the ground, gasping as images flooded his mind, scenes of love lost, dreams shattered, and lives lived in silence. As he lay there, the spirit flickered before him, a roiling concoction of shadow and light. "You have offered much, but you must share the burden," it whispered, a sorrowful melody that echoed in the night, entwined with the lament of the others.
"What does that mean?"
Dario choked out, fear clawing at his throat.
"You must remember," it urged, "and you must ensure that others do not forget. This village harbors a history that cries out to be told. A history that binds the living to the lost. Share their stories, let their light shine once more."
The shadows began to recede, drawn back toward the depths of the well.
A soft glow pulsed from within, an aura of calm enveloping the clearing as the tension lifted. The spirits faded slowly, their once glistening eyes now dimming, but not before Dario caught glimpses of gratitude etched on their faces.
As dawn broke, the villagers gathered at the edge of the woods, sensing a shift in the air. Dario emerged from the clearing with a newfound resolve, carrying with him the weight of stories untold. "I will share their stories," he declared, voice strong and clear.
"I will honor those who came before us, those who lived and loved and lost."
In the days that followed, Dario became a bridge between the past and the present.
He spoke to the villagers, gathering their memories, weaving their tales into a tapestry filled with laughter and sorrow, victory and loss.
The village of Rasik awoke to the stories that had been buried alongside the souls that once walked the earth. Years passed, and the village thrived, no longer shying away from its history. The specters of the past, once an ominous presence, became guiding lights, illuminating the paths of both the living and the departed. The villagers learned to embrace the darkness and the light, understanding the delicate balance that tied them together. Dario often visited the well, a sacred site that now brimmed with life and connection.
Although the spirits no longer roamed the woods, their presence lingered in the hearts of the villagers, guiding them through the changing seasons.
And at night, when the wind whispered through the trees, the echoes of their stories could be heard, a symphony of voices entwined through time, reminding the living to honor the past, lest history repeat itself. As the moon rose high over Šumadija, illuminating the village in a silver glow, the stories continued to flow, passing through generations, a reminder that the line between the living and the lost is thin but forever unbroken, a haunting tale that binds them together in a dance of shadows and whispers.